Britain, Dr. Rahmi Al-Adwan, is a British Palestinian NHS doctor, exposing the weaponisation of the management body of the NHS, the GMC, the General Medical Council, which governs the conduct of Britain's doctors, by the Israel lobby. And I'm very glad to meet you at last, Dr. Rahmi. I've been following your work now for quite a bit of time. Why don't you tell the viewers, first of all, where you were working, what you've been doing, and what they are now doing to you?
Thank you for having me, George. Thank you to everyone who's watching. So, yeah, I've been working as a doctor in the NHS for 7 years. I've not had any complaints. I've never made an error, never hurt anyone, never caused any harm to a patient. But for the past 2 years, there's been a campaign by the pro-Israel lobby in the UK to have me punished for my activism on Palestine. And it has escalated from doxing to being smeared in the press, and now it culminated to a referral to the MPTS, the Medical Practitioners Tribunal Service. So my own medical regulator, the GMC, referred me to the tribunal after a second investigation, after I won the first one that took 9 months. And that was on the 25th of September. And I came out of that victorious. I defended a bundle of 450 complaints. It wasn't complaints, it was a bundle of 450. There was several complaints in there, but it was basically all of my online posts about the genocide, about Zionism, which I call Jewish supremacy. And since then, since I won, there has been an even more vicious attack. It's actually something I never pictured. And I was telling my friend and good comrade yesterday, it's something I actually wouldn't wish on anybody. There's been over 40 articles in the press smearing me and defaming me. And also the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, made unfounded comments about the outcome of the tribunal. Obviously, Streeting is funded by the Israel lobby. And what he did was a breach, really, of our judicial system. This is an independent body. This was a panel that heard me, and they made their decision not to suspend me and not to put any orders on any conditions on my practice. So for an MP to make comments about it is actually quite concerning, but it's gone a step further because Streeting is now threatening to pass legislation that would mean that anybody who's accused of quote-unquote anti-Semitism, I don't call it anti-Semitism, I'm Palestinian, I'm a Semite, we are the Semites, okay? So if it's anti-Jewish hatred, which obviously I wasn't found to be executing, it is that he's bypassing he's bypassing our regulators and even the tribunal service, and he will suspend us straight away and make us guilty until proven innocent. If you heard me what I said at the beginning, that I had a previous investigation that ran 9 months, and after that, those 9 months, and after my response to the GMC, they said there was no issue, and that was UK Lawyers for Israel, another lobby group. And so that would have meant that I would have not been able to work. I wouldn't have my license or any income for 9 months, and then I would be found innocent. That's what he's trying to do, and I think it should be extremely, extremely worrying for every single doctor in the UK and every single British citizen. This is a breach of our basic human rights, of our centuries-long rule of law. That's what Streeting is trying to jeopardize.
Well, Wes Streeting, for the global audience, is not just an MP, he's not just any minister. He is the Health Secretary in charge of the NHS, which employs 1 million people in the country. But more than that, he is the anointed successor to Keir Starmer. He is running to be Prime Minister. He's Tony Blair's candidate to be Prime Minister. Starmer only got the gig because Streeting was regarded at that time as too young to go in. Now, since he was a boy, he has been a tool of the Israel lobby. He was plucked, you might say, from student politics, like virtually all of his generation of Labour students, and he is a zealot, a fanatic of Israel. So the moves that he's making against you are a signal to those who don't like the fact that Starmer was forced to recognize the so-called state of Palestine. What he's signaling is, I'm still your man, and I'm going to witch hunt anybody who you consider to be an enemy. Now, Doctor, I just saw tweets issued by another doctor, a pro-Israel doctor, who showed a picture of a wardrobe with a resistance fighter's outfit hanging, a journalist's outfit hanging, and a doctor's outfit hanging. And this woman said, some people don't know what to wear to work in the morning. A very clear, unambiguous accusation that doctors in Palestine are terrorists and that journalists in Gaza are terrorists. Will she be in trouble for that tweet?
She's been reported, and I believe it's gone over 100 complaints to the General Medical Council. That tweet that Liz Lightstone, who works at UCL, she's a Jewish doctor and she's a supporter of Israel, that tweet manufactures consent for the murder of Palestinian doctors and journalists. And we have seen our colleagues in Palestine, over 1,900 medics have been murdered by the IOF. Over 260 journalists have been murdered. And just an hour ago, we heard the news of Saleh al-Jafarawi, who is very dear to us. And he's had a target on his back, just like Anas al-Sharif had. In fact, there was a tweet where Eddie Cohen from the IOF sent to Saleh saying, have you not been martyred yet? And that just came up on my phone, so when I heard the news. So there's been reports, there's been complaints against this particular doctor, and the General Medical Council has not deemed that she's done anything even worth opening an investigation about. So there is, the way that I've explained this is that it's not a double standard. This is exactly what I say and what they want to persecute me for saying. This is Jewish supremacy. My colleague that I worked with at the Whittington Hospital last year, who lied up to the Daily Mail about me, who went to my seniors to complain about my necklace that was a map of Palestine that I'd been wearing even before October 7, and who called the police to say that I am doxing her when I defended myself against the Daily Mail article. She is also a Jewish doctor, and I reported her. I complained to the GMC about her because I went into the staff room one time basically in tears over a Palestinian patient who had been ran over by a tank. And I do trauma and orthopedics, and he had a cast on. And she looked at me, and I told her, oh, I'm just really upset because of this. And I showed her the picture, and she said, too bad, and then turned around and continued working. So the reporting me to the police, the lying about me to the Daily Mail, as well as the lack of empathy to a patient that could have been ours, since we're trauma and orthopedics doctors, did not meet the criteria or the threshold for the General Medical Council to even open an investigation. Yet here I am, a second investigation and a second hearing. This is a double jeopardy. This has never happened before in the history of the General Medical Council that I know of, or that my solicitors and barrister know of. So this is huge. This is a complete attack on our freedom of speech and expression. And this is changing the laws for a specific group of people. And the general message that I keep saying is that the fact that I criticize Jewish supremacy is because everybody's equal. We are equal. There is no apartheid in Britain. Everybody must be treated equally, nobody less than someone else and nobody better than someone else. But as you can see, those examples we've given today clearly highlight that there is a hierarchy in the GMC with our Israel-funded Health Secretary and MPs, and with our institutions. And I think, it's really important that we stand against this. That's why we have a group in the movement called Healthcare Workers Against Censorship. There is a protest this Wednesday, the 15th of October at 10:30 a.m. in London Parliament, calling for Streeting to resign. Everything that Streeting has done to me and to other doctors this isn't about me and my license. This is about the integrity of our British institutions from foreign lobbies and foreign and from them being subversed by foreign hostile interests. So it's not just me. This has happened to hundreds of doctors. There's been over 600 complaints about anti-genocide pro-Palestine doctors, and only I think 100 or so made it past triage. That also highlights that these are vexatious complaints. Dr. Rehan Ali, my friend and a very brilliant neurologist, consultant neurologist, Cambridge graduate with a PhD, was also put to a hearing after being suspended unfairly, and she got her license back. But the complaint bundle was actually put forward to the GMC twice before the correct person, or probably the wrong person, was handed it in the GMC to then begin an investigation. So that shows that there is corruption in our regulators and our British institutions are at risk. So this will be a really big protest on Wednesday, and I hope that healthcare workers and the British public support us. You don't have to agree with the certain words that we're saying, as long as we're not inciting harm, which none of us have done, because we've been trying to stop harm, we've been trying to stop the Holocaust in Gaza. It's important that we defend each other's freedom of speech. I would defend my opponent's freedom of speech, even if I completely disagreed with everything they said, but I would defend their right to say it, because that is a basic human right that our government, the Israel lobby, and especially Wes Streeting are trying to take away from us.
Just give us those details again. That's 10:30 a.m. at Parliament Square on Wednesday. Is that right?
Yeah, outside of Parliament, London, Wednesday.
10:30 a.m. I hope you get a big turnout, and I hope everything works out for you.